Shipping container projects. Olivenhout-Bosch, Minga, Jane First HIV and TB clinics. We were presented with the challenge to create 3 operational HIV-TB clinics in 3 different locations in the country within 3 months by FBD, the Foundation for Professional Development, and USAID. This had to include the collaboration with the client, the design taking the client's comments and restrictions into consideration, approval by the end user and sponsors, construction of 3 clinics, as well as an ablution block for the existing clinic opposite Marula Sun, as well as sourcing and placement of furniture and equipment needed and handling over of the clinics, within a tight budget presented by the sponsors. Not only this, but the entire process had to take place over the construction industry yearly December break. The only way we saw all of this happening was to optimize the qualities inherent to shipping containers. The idea was to place 4 40-foot containers in a lager or square, with a courtyard as a result, and covering the resulting courtyard with an insulated roof. The containers themselves were utilized for consulting rooms to see potential HIV sufferers, consultation rooms to brief those who tested HIV positive and their families, ablution for staff and patients, resting and tea rooms for nurses and doctors, a pharmacy, a data capture room, a laboratory to test urine and blood samples, and a separate space for TB sufferers to produce cough samples. The courtyard space lent itself to waiting rooms for patients and their children, a playpen for smaller children, a reception area, and television education on HIV and TB for waiting patients. The biggest challenge we were faced with was the separation of HIV and TB sufferers, as HIV patients are much more vulnerable to contracting other diseases. This was achieved by having 2 separate and diagonally opposite entrances, as well as screening off one of the old container doors, which would then serve together with the doors as screens for coughing sample production area for potential TB patients. We achieved 12 air changes per hour, instead of the required 8, through utilizing multiple evaporative cooling elements to rapidly draw out the air from the courtyard and containers to speedily evacuate possible airborne viruses. As shipping containers actually have very impractical interior dimensions, especially the width of less than 2.4 meters wide, we decided to firmly insulate the containers from the outside surfaces. 50mm insulation board was glued to the exterior of the container walls and then plastered with a polymer plaster and fiber cement mesh combination. The roof and footprint of the clinic was also insulated with the same EPS insulation board. All the interior fitting, insulation and plasterwork was done in the factory in Gauteng before the containers were trucked off to the various sites. The containers were then placed on a prepared soiled mattress with insulation board on it. The roof over the courtyard assembled and covered with recycled advertisement board canvas and soil with grass sods, as further insulation and for it to fit better into the rural environment. Eucalyptus slabs were installed on prepared angle iron frames over the windows to reduce heat buildup by direct sunlight on the window glass in summer. A screed was cast in the courtyard. Connection of services and commissioning of units took place, and the units were handed over to the clients, all within the allocated 3 months.